Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. Bro with the stickers, having the typical first awkward intro to any kind of moto vlog. So here we go. But that's all good. Friends and foes welcome, because I kind of got to live my life no matter what. But hey, what are you going to do? So anyway, it's funny that I'm being nervous and sounding shitty on this initially, because the title of this video is going to be Imposter Syndrome. For vlogging, for motorcycles, for literally just about anything at all. Something I kind of feel a lot, and I think a lot of other people do too, and it's a kind of a funny thing because everyone kind of just wants to do their own thing and not be judged for it, and that's cool, and we really shouldn't try to judge because we all sucked at something at some point. Real quick, bike 2018 Ninja 400 ABS. I hardly have any miles on it, and I'll tell you the whole fun story. A couple of quick mods, driven grips, bar ends on both sides, completely blacked out Puig windscreen, which is kind of dumb because you can't fully tuck, but I don't know, it looks cool and I never tuck because I'm still a baby rider. I replaced these heel guards with those because they just look cooler. Got my spools for jacking it up. I got some scrapes in there. I did a tail delete. I can't remember what brand that is, though, but it's super low profile and pretty sleek. Got the Yoshimura slip-on, which I absolutely love the sound on. Got the OEM frame sliders. I installed the USB on my own. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing too crazy. I got Michelin Road 5 in the back and 6 in the front, because I had to get them at separate times, and that was what was available. But these things have been rock solid for me so far. They're super comfortable. The bike's super comfortable. But anyway, all right, let's watch me poorly ride this motorcycle real quick, and we can chat about stuff and things and stuff. So here we go. Let's take the kickstand up and start her up. This is not cold. I rode this over to this spot. Sounds pretty nice for the motor style that most people despise, the 180 crank parallel twin, but you know, it's all good. She's mine, so I love her, and that's just the way it is, and it's all good. But anyway, so I got my motorcycle license 14 years ago. So it has not been a short journey to get to where I am now. And I did a lot of things wrong after I got my motorcycle license, which included not getting a bike and practicing right away. Well, all of the MSF course was still fresh in my head, and I kind of just had a better handling and idea on what I was doing. And I let that slip for a very, very long time. And that sucked, because then when I finally did buy a bike, which was 7 years later, boy, was I nervous. It was not a good time, man. I was like, I hadn't even ridden a bicycle in forever. So yeah, it was rough. It was slow going. And then I had a kid like 4 months after I got the bike, and that pretty much took me out of the game for a very long time. And that's where a whole bunch of issues came up that were nobody's fault but my own. And it's hard to find resources on some of this stuff unless you even know what you're looking for. So it's kind of funny. So the first thing I ran into was, oh, you mean like with my car, I can't just let it sit in the garage for 4 months and just have the battery work right away? Well, with an acid battery, which is what a lot of bikes come with, you can't. You need a battery tender. So initially I kept trying to like recharge the the battery, but the chemicals inside that make everything work were just kind of completely drained. So that was a fun little saga, not getting things done the right way and just having to learn that part of what it is to be a motorcyclist, which is maintenance on your bike, which is so important. So then fast forward, I'm like, cool, I got my battery tender. I'm like chilling now. I don't got to worry about nothing. So then time goes on. I try to ride a few miles here and there, but again, newborn, working, just life in general, and you know, I let it fall by the wayside. I said, I got my battery tender, I'm just gonna let it chill And guess what, kids? That is also not okay. Motorcycles should be running through like a full heat cycle for like every week or a couple of weeks, just to keep all the seals up, keep all the liquids flowing, this, that, and the other thing. So my first issue that I ran into was my fuel pump seized. Of course, being a dummy that I was, man, it doesn't matter how old you are, how many life lessons you learn, when you jump into something new, you're a little wee baby all over again. So I made that mistake. My fuel pump seized. The inside of my gas tank rusted. Had to have that fixed. That was a nice little bill. But that paled into the comparison to the next one. So the next thing I did was the exact same mistake, thinking, oh, well, that was because I didn't have a lot of fuel in the bike and I left, you know, low-grade fuel in the bike, and here we are. It's not a big deal. I can just let it chill and ride it every 6 months or something like that, and it's going to be totally fine, because I kept it in a garage. It wasn't a heated garage, but I don't live someplace really cold, so I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. Well, folks, it sure was. All of my valves were rusted through, and my entire throttle assembly was rusted to the point that I couldn't even turn the throttle, which was no good, and I had to have it towed back. So basically half of my engine's been rebuilt at this point, and I barely have 120 miles on the motorcycle, which is pretty hilarious. Don't be like this guy. Talk to the person who you deal with at the dealership about proper storage, proper maintenance. I mean, there's like a billion different videos on this stuff, but if you don't even know to look for it, man, it could just be off your radar, and that's kind of just where I ended up, and it was kind of a mess. So that brings us to here. 7 years after I got the bike, half a motor rebuilt. Everything that could have gone wrong with storing things and doing things improperly is pretty much exactly what happened. So yeah, now I'm trying to get the bike out more and just be less of a goon about it. So here I am riding the bike now, because it's actually a beautiful day right now, and so yeah, hopefully I can make the most of it and the best of it, and we'll see where it goes. But all that being said, man, I can hardly admit that I made all those mistakes to myself, let alone tell anybody else. But I figured if I did a little vlogging setup, moto vlogging setup, whatever the heck you want to call it, it would kind of keep me honest and keep me accountable and make me, I don't know, just stick to my guns, stick to what I said I wanted to do. I do really enjoy riding it, especially when it's a beautiful day. It's fun, you feel cool, which is half of the reason why anybody does anything. It just makes you feel cool, makes you feel good, makes you feel a little bit alive. You know, it's a different experience. I'm like the anti-squid kind of old guy, but not super old, but old enough to be old, to where most of the people who watch moto vlogs would consider me ancient. But you know, I'm just enjoying myself, and that's kind of the way it's going to be. And if people are going to hate on me for it, or tell me I'm a poser or a noob or whatever, you know what? I am definitely a noob, but a poser I am not, because a poser wouldn't even admit they did anything wrong, and they would just act like, you know, they're doing a $150 on the highway every other day, and they run from cops and shit where they barely drive it around the block. Man, I keep forgetting to turn my signal off. See, noob status. Oh, don't kill me. Thanks, bro. So yeah, there's so many different things that you're gonna do wrong and make mistakes with, and just not even think about. And it's really hard to just like get that mentality right, where there's things you need to be able to expect and understand, and you know, that's just how it goes sometimes. That's life. Anytime you're learning anything new, you're going to run into those situations where, oh, I didn't even know I had to do that, and you feel like you did everything, but you didn't even come close. So, you know, that's just the way it is. So if you're in that same situation, it's okay. People make mistakes. I think a worse mistake you can make outside of bad maintenance is just being irresponsible. I just won't ride out of my comfort zone. I don't care if I don't look cool, because I'm not going fast and I'm not, you know, burning off my chicken strips and this, that, and the other thing. It's like, hey man, I got a life that I want to live, and how am I going to have more fun on my motorcycle if I hurt myself, or I break the bike, or I hurt somebody else, or something dumb. And I know that's kind of lame, and it's just like, oh, motorcycles, don't be a stick in the mud, you know what I mean? But it's like, no, it's cool, man. You can just talk about shit like that and it's fine. And if you're nervous about shit like that, that's totally fine too. Like, there's no reason to feel like you can't have those feelings or those thoughts. And a little bit of nervousness, I think, is healthy. I think it gives you a little bit of caution, and it makes you think about what you're doing and what your next move is, and whether or not you should even make that move. Because some people probably shouldn't make that move, and that's okay too. If you take something on and you're like, wow, man, this really isn't for me, or I really don't feel safe doing this, then take a step back, reevaluate what you're doing. Don't get hung up on the fact like you feel like you have to do something, because, man, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You don't have to be a certain person. You don't have to look a certain way to a certain group of people, because at the end of the day, you're going home to yourself, and you got to be happy with you and happy with what life you're living in, and the people in your life that surround you need to be good people. So I don't have too much to say beyond that to start this whole thing off. It's good meeting y'all, and I hope that I can make more of these and I figure out how to do this well, because this is my first go, and I don't even know if my voice is recording right now, so, or how good it sounds. It may sound like complete shit, but we'll see. So I'm just going to keep at it, and I'm going to keep practicing and try to get better, and maybe the vlogs will be less embarrassing from a technical perspective, and we'll just go from there, and that'll be it, man. So great meeting everybody again. Stay safe out there no matter what you're doing. Be happy with who you are. Be happy with the life that you're living. And yeah, just remember, be kind and do good. I'll catch you on the next one.